It's tipped and intercepted. 10-1, 10-5, touchdown Wildcats.
Kansas State has been known for great man-to-man players and great man-to-man technique over the years. This is how we teach man-to-man here at Kansas State. You'll see some demonstration, you'll see some practice footage, you'll see some game footage. All of those things will come into play as we try and teach these techniques. I hope we can help you with your football team. I hope some of these ideas and these drills can be successful for you. Okay, we're going to start out with press technique, all right? And the first technique that we're going to talk about is slide from a press alignment. And again, we talked about that being an aggressive at the line, trying to reroute the wide receiver technique. All right, alignment, we talk about alignment, stance, key, and technique. All right, the alignment, now if we assume that the ball is in here and I'm the quarterback, all right, the ball is in here, so Randy is playing left corner, okay? The alignment we want is going to be shaded inside or outside based on the split of the wide receiver. Okay, Mo is the wide receiver. Randy is, he's got a medium to large split. He'll shade it inside. And all that means is his outside foot is in the crotch of the wide receiver. It's a slight inside shade. Okay, if Mo's got a short split, and that's determined by game plan, then Randy would shade it the other way with his inside foot in the crotch of Mo, shade him on the outside. Okay? The alignment, we want to be 1 arm's length distance away from the wide receiver. So as Randy just reaches out, he wants to have enough room that he can just reach his arm out and keep that kind of distance. Obviously, if Mo is off the line as a wide receiver, Randy wants to crowd as much as he can to the line of scrimmage without being offside with his helmet. Okay, back up on the line there, Mo. Okay, the stance now that we want out of Randy. All right, we want a flat back stance, square feet, okay, weight on the balls of his feet, right there. All right, now his back is flatter. Randy's a tall player, and he doesn't get as flat backed as some of the smaller, shorter guys, and that's fine. It's got to be a comfort thing, but for the most part, we want a good flat back right in here like this. We want our feet shoulder width apart and parallel. All right, and now Randy's hands should be in a position to jam, okay? Right there. They don't have to be way up. As long as the wrist is cocked up, we're in good shape. Okay, let's see the stance again, Randy. All right, now, the key, our eyes need to be below the waist. All right, we're looking at the waist or below. All right, one of the things that I believe that you can even be more specific by focusing on the inside thigh of the wide receiver. The inside thigh of the wide receiver will have to cross over for him to run a fade route. Okay, so that's the point that we want to be with our eyes as we get in our stance. Okay, Randy, give us that look right there. Eyes down low, right there. Good. Hands ready to punch. All right, good. All right, now, the initial movement that we want with this technique is going to be side to side. We're going to slide, and that's the name of the technique. So if Maurice moves this way in his release, Randy will step with his near foot and slide to stay in front. The idea is that we want to force the receiver to alter his route. We want to flatten him off on his release. We don't want vertical releases. We want horizontal releases, outside or inside. All right, so if Mo releases outside, Randy will step with that near foot and slide that other foot. Now, the key is that we don't cross those feet over. Okay, Randy, show them what would happen if you cross those feet over. Start outside and then come back under. All right, if Randy crosses over, we've got a real problem right there. Okay, see it again. Same move. Now, RJ, keep your feet apart and show what can happen. All right, there, and then we come back and we're in good shape. So as long as we slide with them and keep our feet apart and keep our feet good and wide with our knees bent, we should be in good shape. Okay? All right, now, we talk in the punch. We talk about the shock hand and the control hand, okay? Now, the shock hand is the hand in the direction that he's going, and all that hand does is keeps us in front of the receiver. So if Mo releases outside, Randy slides and shocks with his outside hand, okay? Now, that's just a very brief shock by that hand, and he doesn't get a whole lot on him sometimes. As that happens now, after the shock hand, then Randy will transfer to the control hand, right there. And as he transfers to the control hand, he will pivot and open up. Okay, let's see it the other way now. Releasing inside. Okay, Randy will shock with his right hand as he steps. We want to step. All right, now the pivot, and now as Mo is down the field, we pivot and control. Okay. Now once we shock and we're into the control position, we want that elbow locked, and we want our thumb up, and we want that jam in the armpit of that wide receiver. Okay, so as you release it in again, all right, as Randy slides and shocks, now the control, he's locked it out. Now do it the other way. All right, lock that elbow, control it with your thumb up. That's the strongest position we can be in. All right, once again, we want to be in control. Lock that elbow and let the wide receiver carry you down the field. Let him do the work. If we're locked here, then his momentum will carry you into phase, okay? So we're in good shape there. All right, now, once we've executed the slide technique and we're in the control position, now the rest of it is how we handle down the field. Okay, so Mo, we want to release outside. Randy is going to slide. He's going to shock, control. Now we're down the field. Randy's eyes are on the hip. Okay, stop right there. That's perfect position. We are still upfield on the wide receiver. We're deeper than the receiver. We're locked out with our elbow, and our eyes are on that near hip, okay? All right, now, go down that, take that down the field to the numbers and then stutter down one time. Okay, now watch this. Down the field, Randy's got control. All right, his eyes are low. The wide receiver stutters, and we mirror that move as we stutter down and sink our hips as well, okay? All right, now, if we're in the downfield position, Randy's down the field, Mo takes him up to the numbers and then tries to cross his face. In other words, try and get back underneath him. We need to practice that. There's a technique that we use. We call it switchbacks, okay? So Randy was going to take him up the field. Mo's going to cross his face, and Randy's going to switch back and reset that hand and open the hips with his eyes on the waist and the hip all the way. Now that's the best way. We would use that switchback technique where we reopen as long as that receiver is within the framework of our body and we can get our hands on him. But if Randy got up too high in his position and Mo would slap his hand down and go across his face, then Randy would need to use a speed turn, reset the hand on his jam, and switch back with a speed turn. Now watch that one. Reset that hand as quick as possible, right there in that jam position. Good. All right, now we need to talk about playing routes. Once we've received that, we've put ourselves in that position, in the downfield control position, now it's basically recognizing routes and breaking appropriately. All right, we're gonna put ourselves in the downfield position and cover the fade route now, okay? All right, Cedric's gonna walk the fade route, Corey is gonna cover, and he's gonna get into a position that we call a lean and locate position, where he wants to pin his hip on the hip of the wide receiver and try to lean him out of bounds as he locates the ball. Now, the one thing we got to be careful with is that we don't want to locate the football too soon. We want to make sure that we're past the comeback area before we turn and look for that ball. As we lean and locate down the field, we want to stay in contact. We want to lean, pin our hip to his hip, and there'll be some incidental contact, as we slap hands as we're running down the field. We're not going to put our arm out to impede the progress of the wide receiver. That would be pass interference. Okay, to walk the route here, Ced, and show us what we want to hear. All right, good right there. There's where we are now down the field. Cedric takes off down the boundary. Corey's in good position. Now we want to pin our hip to his hip, lean, and now we're past the comeback area, locate the football right there. All right, now stop right there. That is the fit position that we want to be in. With Corey's shoulder in front of Cedric's shoulder, hip to hip. Corey has pinned Cedric's hip to the boundary, and he's leaning him out of bounds. All right, come on back, fellas. Okay, now we're going to talk about the slant, okay? All right, we're going to try and beat the slant in there. You're going to slide and control that thing and try and play the slant here, okay? All right, just walk the slant. There it is. Now right there. Okay, good. Now stop right there. At that point, Corey's in great control of Cedric right there. If that ball is thrown on the slant, all right, now turn around and go this way on the slant, fellas, so that we can get it on the camera. Start right there and go that way on the slant. Okay, so the ball's in there. All right, watch this. Walk the slant right there. Now, as Corey plays right there, if the ball is thrown, Corey wants to dig his right shoulder underneath for that football, right there, to go after that ball, okay? And that's how he'll make the play on the slant, okay? All right, come on back, fellas. And that's what we want. Now, let's talk about a stop route or an out and how we want to play the shoulders now, okay? I'd said release slightly outside and run a stop route, okay, at 5. All right, here's Corey. He's in the downfield position. Cedric stops right there. Now, turn back to the ball, Ced. There you go, right there. Now, Corey's job is to make sure that he plays the upfield shoulder of the wide receiver. He doesn't want to cut underneath that because then we're vulnerable to the stop and go. He wants to play the upfield shoulder of the wide receiver. Okay, Ced, come on back down here and run a quick out now at 5. All right, now, here's the out cut. All right, Corey's in the downfield control position. Right there, locks it out. Cedric runs an out cut. We're staying on the upfield shoulder. We don't want to undercut that thing. As long as we're on the upfield shoulder, then if Cedric turns up on the out and up, going up, then Corey's got a chance now to jam again and reset that upfield position. All right, come on back, good. Okay, the first drill that we teach slide technique is what we call a punch drill. And what we're trying to do here is teach the first step and the shock hand only. All right, punch drill is going to look like this, where the wide receiver will just take one step, we'll step and punch right there, and then we'll reset. Okay, step and punch, and then reset, and go. He'll go both directions. Try not to make it predictable, and that's all we want right there. Okay, you guys jump up and do that full speed. Give me about 5 each way. Okay, right there, good. And of course, you know, and go ahead and put your jam right there on his breastplate there. Okay, Ced, good. All right, and again, we want that jam to be right here in the armpit and on the number. Okay, the next drill that we work on is what we call a mirror dodge drill. Again, all we're trying to emphasize here is the initial position and keeping that initial position on the release. All right, so what we're going to do, Randy is the wide receiver. He's got 5 yards to move back and forth and try and shake the defensive back. Now, Mo's job is to make sure that he stays in front. The whole idea of slide technique is that we stay in front of the wide receiver and reroute him, make him flatten off one way or the other and not get vertical releases. So we're not going to use our hands here in this mirror drill. We're just going to slide with our hands in position to punch, but it's a footwork drill, and that's all. Eyes need to be below the waist, on the inside thigh, or on the belt buckle. We need to make sure that we stay in front. Okay, here's the mirror dodge drill. Okay, good. Stay in front of him. That's it. Feet apart. All right, stop. Okay, you guys go full speed on this now. Go. Good, right there. That's what we want. We want to make it as realistic as possible. Good job with his feet. Good. Stop. The key there is that we keep our feet apart and that we keep our feet moving and sliding in phase together. No crossover. That's the idea. Okay, the next drill we call flatten the release drill. All it is a release drill. We're emphasizing the point that we want to flatten the release of the wide receiver. We don't want him vertical. We want him to either bow out or inside in a flat manner where he can't get down the field with speed. All right, so all we do is we ask the receiver to give him a realistic release at the line of scrimmage and then release to the numbers as far as he can. The receiver is going to try not to let the defensive back flatten him too far, and of course that's the object of the drill. All right, so Mo's going to use the shock hand and the control hand to flatten the wide receiver's release all the way up to the numbers. Okay, here we go. Good, right there, all the way to the numbers. Okay, these guys are going to do it full speed here. Make sure you got an arm's length of separation, Ced. Move back a little bit there. There you go. Okay, on you. Good, right there, flatten it off. Okay, and we want that wide receiver to do the best he can to juke him and get up the field as tight as he can in a realistic manner. Okay, the next drill is what we call the stuttered drill. We're going to take a release at the line of scrimmage, and all the principles of defeating the release are in play. Then as we get downfield in the downfield control position with the arm locked, we're going to ask the wide receiver to stutter down as if he was making a